There are two frogs, one boy frog, one girl frog, and they live together in a small well. That is the beginning of a folktale that I heard when I was a kid. This frog couple is the happiest frog couple in the whole frog world. They wake up in the morning on one side of the well, they talk for a few hours, then they swim to the other side of the well, they eat some insects. They have a very good life, full of different possibilities. They're loving it. Until one day, when the boy frog tragically dies. The girl frog is devastated. That well that seemed so full of life and so big suddenly felt so small and like a jail. She spent some time in that situation until one day she decided to climb out of that well. And she realized that that small well was next to a big river with hundreds of other frogs just living next to her. And suddenly her world was not so small anymore, but was once again full of different possibilities. When I was a small kid, this story was not special for me. Now I have lived 28 years, and it started to make a bit of sense. I realized the significance. That girl frog, what she did is exactly what we do with our lives. We have our friends who are most often like us. They believe in the same things, they do the same kind of jobs, they live in the same place, and we get used to our routines. We think in the same way. And the life is good. It's perfect. Nothing is wrong with that. Until one day, something dramatic happens, and your routine gets disturbed, your happiness in your life gets disturbed, and you think that your world is small. Actually, sociologists have a name for this phenomenon. It's called homophily. And that is our tendency to associate ourselves with the people that share the same values, same beliefs, or same social class. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, because that is exactly how we have survived from millenniums, by sticking together in groups for safety. But it has one drawback. It makes our world a bit small, because it isolates us from differing opinions and beliefs. Let me ask you this question. Do you know this feeling of excitement and limitless possibilities that you feel when you start your new dream job? Or when you move to a new city or a country? Or when you fall in love with a new person? Of course, all these situations comes with a little bit of anxiety, but that is nothing compared to the excitement that you feel for doing something absolutely new, which has limitless possibilities. But then the same thing happens. After a while, you get into a routine, it gets normal, that excitement is not there anymore. Our world becomes small. Stopping ourselves from making our world small requires conscious effort. And let me give you a couple of examples from my recent life that may help you how I try to do it. 4 years ago, I moved from Pakistan to the beautiful city of Wrocław in Poland. And in my very first year, the world was huge. I met so many new people. I traveled to so many places in Europe. I tried new things. I tried salsa dancing for the first time. I tried to play a violin. Didn't manage to do it, but I tried. But after a while, I started to get into a routine. I found friends who liked the same things as me. We went to the same places. We did the same familiar activities. And it was okay. Everything was fine. Until about 1 year ago, in a matter of few months, more than half of my friends moved away from the city. And suddenly I had a lot of time on my hand and not many people to spend them with. And I felt that my world became very small. And although I love that city and I want to live there, I seriously considered maybe it is time for me to move on as well. The world is big and I should find a new place. Quite accidentally, right around that time, I stumbled into my Toastmasters club. And I met a lot of amazing people there and made great friendships. But I also got to try something new which I had never done before, that was public speaking and leadership. And because of these new things, my world that had started to feel a bit small in that city was one more time big. The second example. is the US presidential election that we had last year. I love politics, and I enthusiastically followed that election for more than 1 year. And like many people, I was absolutely sure we are going to have a woman president of a superpower. Imagine my surprise when I woke up and it was not her. I couldn't believe it. And I discussed with my friends and they couldn't believe it either. How could Trump win? It didn't make sense to us. So I consciously decided to approach some people that I knew who voted for him, or people who would vote for similar kind of candidates right here in Europe. And I tried to ask them, what makes you vote for such candidate? Because I do not understand. And the answers that they gave me made me realize that me and all of those my friends who were shocked by his win were victim of our own creation. We had created a bubble around us where we didn't actually see any other opinion that didn't match ours. All those people that vote for such kind of candidates are not crazy people. They just have different life experiences and different thoughts which make them vote for a different candidate than the one that I have. And that suddenly made me feel like there is a lot of in the world that I do not know, and the world is big. These two examples that I just gave you made me realize that our world is not only huge, it's really huge, but we let it become small for ourselves. But it is never too late to expand it. And you don't need to do anything special. You don't need to change your friends. You don't need to change your job or change your city or go to a different country. You can be doing whatever you're doing right now. All you need to do is look at the unknown that is already around you. Maybe talk to that person that sits across your table but you never talked to them before. Maybe that will open a whole new world for you. There are a few simple things that I've been consciously trying to do myself, and I think that if you would also implement, would help you. And that is to say yes more often, try the unknown more often. From time to time, go across the aisle and talk to that person that you completely disagree with, just to understand. And make these things habit, and soon you will realize that our worlds became infinitely bigger.